Hi and welcome. My name is Dwight Delgado, and this channel is dedicated to helping you become your better self. In this video, I'm going to help you decide whether buying or renting is better for you. A home purchase, at least in my parents' generation, was considered an expected part of life, a major milestone. But times are changing, and that decision is not so clear-cut anymore. I'm talking about your primary residence, not an investment property. We are comparing your potential future home, where you want to set up roots with, versus renting. What is best for you depends on your personal situation. Are you single and mobile, or are you starting a family and looking to stay put for a while? And what are rent and home prices like in your desired geography? I like to travel back and forth between San Diego, California, and Phoenix, Arizona, and the differences in prices are tremendous. The median home price in San Diego, according to Zillow, is $680,000, while the median home price in Phoenix, Arizona is only $270,000. Let's start with the benefits of renting. It's much easier to get started. Apartments typically ask for a small deposit, and lease terms typically last for 12 months. You could potentially do a month-to-month agreement after that. If you opt for renting a home, the deposit may be slightly larger, but it's still accessible. As a renter, you're mobile and you can move out as soon as your lease is over. Worst case scenario, if you need to break your lease, you have that option available to you. During the life of the lease, you'll always know what your monthly rent will be. In addition to that, there's not going to be any additional cost for maintenance or upkeep. Now, let's move on to the downsides of renting. When you're renting, you're going to miss out on building equity, and I'll explain equity in a second. Your rent may increase when your lease expires. With an apartment, you may get a patio, but yards are typically reserved for homes. Now, another thing you have to consider is privacy. With an apartment, as you can imagine, there's a lot more people living together, so maybe you're the noisy one, maybe your neighbors are the noisy ones, maybe you have people above you, you can hear them stomping around, or you're the stomper and you have someone below you. The other thing is, typically you cannot make any changes to the property unless you run them by the landlord. Now, let's move on to buying, starting with the pros. One of the first benefits is equity. Equity is a difference between the market value of your home and the amount you owe the lender. In other words, it's the amount of money you'd receive after paying off the mortgage if you were to sell the home. Let's say the fair market value of your home is $500K and you owe $450 on the mortgage. Your equity is therefore $50K, assuming you sell your property at a fair market value. Americans historically are not good with their savings, so a home purchase is a way to force us to save. As you pay down your mortgage in 20 to 30 years, not only will your home be paid off, but it will be worth something. Now let's move on to the cons of homeownership. Buying a home is expensive. Most people put 1 to 20% down, depending on the market, and then finance the rest. Financing means that interest will be added to the value of the home. If you're putting less than 20% down, you will have to pay private mortgage insurance, PMI. PMI typically costs between 0.5 and 1% of the total loan amount, and it's paid on an annual basis. What that means is on a $500,000 mortgage, you'll be paying about $5,000 a year or $417 a month. When buying, there's also closing costs to consider, which could be as much as 6% of the home's price. These include lender fees, such as admin, underwriting, processing, mortgage points, appraisal, application fees, and so on. Many borrowers include these costs in the mortgage, so they don't have to pay these out-of-pocket expenses. In addition to your mortgage payment, there are also additional expenses required in maintaining your property, including repairs, insurance, landscaping, and property taxes. And here's another big one, opportunity cost. Instead of putting your money towards a down payment, you could have put your money towards an alternate investment, such as the stock market, where index funds are averaging 7 to 9% in return. In conclusion, buying a primary residence is more of a lifestyle decision, not a financial one. It should not be your main investment. Studies show that on average, home values barely outpace inflation, so there are better ways to invest your money. Buy a home when you know you plan to live there for 15 plus years. Hold on to it for the long run. That is when buying makes sense. It is important not to buy and sell real estate frequently. The fees will eat away at your equity. So for me, based on my geography, currently in San Diego, and being single and not having any children, I'm going to continue renting my primary residence and focus on investing my money.